What is going on, everybody? It's the Frost, and we're back again for NXT review for NXT last night, September 19th, 2018. And what a main event we had. Before we get into NXT, of course, I'd like to thank everybody who watched my NXT on my Monday Night Raw review, all 58 of you, and the few who watched SmackDown. Thank you guys all. Let's get those viewership up for SmackDown Live review. And thank you to whomever was our new sub for this channel this week. I'd like to thank you as well. But NXT again blows it out of the water. We go from Hell in a Cell, which was the surprise about everybody outside of the last two matches, a pretty damn good show for Monday Night Raw and SmackDown Live. Of course, it doesn't mean any takeover, but it beat SummerSlam. It beat SummerSlam, Extreme Rules, and Money in the Bank Backlash to a T, as well as the Elimination Chamber and Fastlane and WrestleMania as well. It's probably the best pay-per-view outside of probably the Rumble this year. Then we go to Monday Night Raw, and it was garbage. Absolute garbage. I don't know who thought that was a good show. It was pretty bad. SmackDown Live was pretty decent, especially with the fact that Becky Lynch just becoming more and more of a badass as we move on. And then we get to NXT with a real match with the women that actually makes us realize that the women's evolution in NXT is where the evolution should be. NXT is where everything makes sense. There are no times where you feel like an idiot. If there is, it's very minuscule. And then we get matches like we did tonight outside of the finish, which I understand why they did the finish like that and what it's leading to. But other than that, this match you will not see on the main roster. This match you will not see at WrestleMania. This match you would not see at SummerSlam, Survivor Series, Royal Rumble, Backlash, Fastlane. Any pay-per-view that you see on the main roster, you would not see this match that we saw tonight in the main event. You would see this at a takeover. You would see this at a special on the WWE Network that Triple H runs. But this match tonight, the main event, was by far, if it wasn't for the ending of this match tonight, I think this would have been match of the year. Because of the way the match ended, that takes away any chance of having a candidacy for match of the year, because I like to have matches like that have a solid conclusion, like Johnny Gargano versus the Velveteen Dream. That is the match of the year for NXT, in my opinion, on TV. When I do matches of the year, I do one for Raw, one for SmackDown, one for NXT, and one for UK. TakeOver gets one on its own, and then the pay-per-view of itself get a match of the year. I think I already know what my pay-per-view one is, but I'm going to get to that when it gets to the end of the year. Tonight's show started off with the women, I believe, if I'm correct. Yes, we had Deonna Purrazzo and Dakota Kai versus Aaliyah and Lacey Evans. A real women's match that felt like you weren't having your intelligence insulted. These four women. It's like Aaliyah recently turned heel. Like there was no explanation of why she's heel, but that she was just heel. So, I was like, I don't know. It's starting to grow on me. Aaliyah is starting to come into her own. She really wasn't anything as a babyface. She was just there. She was someone to take a pinfall for the likes of a Lacey Evans or a heel like Shayna Baszler or any of the heels. Her as a heel, she really has seemed to embrace being a bad guy or a bad girl. And it's definitely awesome to see her become more of a full form character other than, just coming in there and hi, I'm Aaliyah and all that stuff. She does feel more refined and more better off in the heel persona that she is now than she was this time last year, where she was just another spoke on the wheel of jobbers. She is one of those who she is like what Billie Kay and Peyton Royce and others before them have done, is where they started off in NXT as the jobbers to the stars, and then eventually they transition into like you have for the Velveteen Dream, Billie Kay, Peyton Royce, so on and so forth. We get a whoop whoop chant from the fans. I don't know who that was. Probably towards Deonna Purrazzo because she is from Ring of Honor. I will say that Deonna Purrazzo, the times I've seen her last week in the Mae Young Classic and this week on NXT, has really shown that she is going to be, especially at least in NXT, a major player. While, and of course on Monday Night Raw she'll probably get turned into just another person. But while she's in NXT, enjoy Deonna Purrazzo as she is, because she is going to be something special in NXT and could possibly be a NXT Women's Champion in the near future. Purrazzo gets a rollover into a chin lock. Evans tries to get out, but Purrazzo stops that, and then Evans uses her legs to head scissor. Purrazzo handstands out of that. I wonder if this is going to be a trope in all of Purrazzo's matches. You see something that everyone does, like when Baron Corbin, every time we come back from commercial break, he always has the chin lock on somebody. Braun Strowman or any big guy has to run and hit their shoulder into ring post just to have them take some damage when you want to have somebody who's smaller than them get some offense. Will Deonna Purrazzo in every match she has do a like be put in a head scissors so she can handstand out and then do a bow? That's cool and all when it's done here and there, but every time like if she starts doing it over and over and over again, it's gonna get kind of repetitive and kind of like, why is she continuing to do it? Purrazzo does induct a woman's right. Purrazzo with the head scissors. Evans then tries to do her own handstand, but Purrazzo shoves her back down. Shoves her in the back. Then Evans uses her long legs to kick Purrazzo in the head to get out of that. She tags in Aaliyah, and they double kick to the gut to Purrazzo. Aaliyah with a kick to the back of Purrazzo's head. Purrazzo with a kick to Aaliyah's elbow. And Kai tags in. Purrazzo tags back in and unmentions on Aaliyah, but Aaliyah grabs the hair to force Purrazzo back to her corner, and Evans tags back in. Purrazzo goes for the armbar, the Fujiwara armbar, but Evans fights out, shoves Purrazzo into the corner, then a forearm to the back of Purrazzo's head. Nasty, nasty looking forearm. Then Evans goes up top, on top of Purrazzo, and just starts with the ground and pound to the back of Purrazzo's head. Aaliyah tags back in. Aaliyah with the combo of elbows to Purrazzo. Evans tags back in, and then Aaliyah. This is something that I haven't seen her do before, but it is a nice little add to her repertoire. She tags in, drops right down, and just grabs the back of Purrazzo's hair and starts yanking in front of the referee. The referee's telling her to stop before he starts counting. I don't know why he didn't count immediately, but he tells her for like 10 seconds or so to stop, let go, and then he starts counting, and she like the full 5 count that she could without being qualified to pull on Purrazzo's hair, just getting that more heat on her. Evans then uses her handstand Bronco Buster in the corner and gets a 2 count. Aaliyah tags back in, gets a 2 count, and put Purrazzo in a top wrist lock. Purrazzo tries to fight to get to a corner, and this is something I've never seen anyone really do too. Was Purrazzo still has the wrist lock on, and not Purrazzo. Aaliyah still has the wrist lock on, and Purrazzo has her up. Aaliyah's back is to Purrazzo's corner as Purrazzo tries to push her, and she just like looks back and kicks the hand of Dakota Kai away, so she can't tag in, and she forces Purrazzo back into her corner. Evans and Aaliyah with the double team while ref is dealing with Dakota Kai, who came in and did the dumb babyface thing where she's distracting the referee and allows her partner to take more damage. Aaliyah gets a pin on Purrazzo off of the double team, but only gets a 2 as Purrazzo kicks out while Kai looks to make the save. This one was a little mistimed because Kai does dive in and hit Aaliyah, but by the time Kai actually made contact with Aaliyah, Deonna Purrazzo actually kicked out. So I think that was supposed to be Dakota Kai making the save, but she didn't get the save fast enough, so Purrazzo ended up kicking out. Evans back in, handstand, then drops the knee on Purrazzo's left arm for a 2 count. Purrazzo's left arm has now been compromised recently. Aaliyah back in and kicked Purrazzo's arm. A lot of half. Aaliyah, the other half sucks. When from the crowd you hear Aaliyah sucks from the crowd. It's just really weird. Aaliyah has Peraza tied up in the ropes as Lacey Evans tags herself in tags her, like just take she has her like put up in the corner, pushing her out, and Lacey Evans just takes the handkerchief she has and just rubs it on her face and then twirls it and it says all day. Just the heels being all healing. Aaliyah with the wrist lock, Peraza fights out, tries to crawl under Aaliyah. Aaliyah catches her foot before she can get there, but Peraza does kick Aaliyah off of her. He tags in Kai. Kai gets a couple forearms, then a kick to Aaliyah's head, then a running haluva kick, then the face wash in the corner as Evans breaks up the pin. Kai looks for the Okada roll. She hits the ropes. Evans tags in. Okada roll is been successfully done, but she gets hit with the woman's right. 1, 2, 3. Lacey Evans and Aaliyah win. You'll have two sides to the end of this match because a lot of people are like, well, Dakota Kai was hardly in the match. How can she get knocked out and be done? Because we've seen so many people get hit with finishers after the other person tags in and they kick out immediately. But on the other side of the fence, if you want to look at this right, having the woman's right get hit right after Dakota Kai, who's barely been in this match, protects the move immensely and makes that move more powerful and devastating. Because she just comes in, woman's right to the face, 1, 2, 3, it's over. I'm gonna be honest, I hate what Big Show would call the weapons of the WMD and what she calls the women's right, the knockout punch. I don't buy it. I've never bought it. It just doesn't feel like it should be a finisher, but it is. I will say that kudos to Triple H and the NXT guys for setting that match up and the finish to the match being like that because it does make the women's right look a lot more devastating. Yes, in a match where you have a one-on-one match where the match has gone 15, 20 minutes and you hit a woman's right, okay, yeah, they're knocked out because it's been a long match. This match was mostly Deonna Purrazzo, if not all Deonna Purrazzo, minus a little bit Kai, getting beat down. Kai does an Okada roll and gets hit once in the face and she's down. Good on them for booking that match to end that way. And if the heels were going to win, then Dakota Kai was the one who needed to take the pinfall. Deonna Purrazzo does not need to be pinned right now. In the back, we had the Velveteen Dream being asked about his win at Brooklyn and what he has done since then. Dream says he has carried the momentum from that win to a win over NXT Golden Boy Johnny Gargano, but the Dream likes to call him Johnny Failure. Then, for whatever reason, they're like, oh, one question. The investigation on Aleister Black is still going underway. We know you already talked to Mr. Regal, but do you have any other words? And it's like, no. You have a chance. He's pretty much like, let me get this straight. You have a chance to talk to the Velveteen Dream, and you want to ask me about people who aren't the Velveteen Dream? Get a clue. And he walks off. Love it. Absolutely love it. The Velveteen Dream is just one of those characters that should be cherished while we have him in NXT, because when he comes up to the main roster, we all know he is going to be killed. Jaxson Ryker versus Humberto Carrillo. Ryker is out here on his own. I thought Jaxson Ryker was going to be the leader of the Forgotten Sons, but the way you had Mauro Ranallo, Percy Watson, and Nigel McGuinness talking, it's Steve Cutler seems to be the one in charge because they said that Steve Cutler recruited Jaxson Ryker for the Forgotten Sons. And they also said that the Forgotten Sons are so confident of Jaxson Ryker over this Humberto Carrillo that they aren't out there with him because Jaxson Ryker was there on his own. Everyone knows Jaxson Ryker is Dunne from TNA Impact Wrestling. This match was pretty much a squash match, but Jaxson Ryker wins with a slingshot powerbomb for the 3 count. That slingshot powerbomb, that's definitely a good finisher for him. Definitely something I don't ever want to see anybody kick out of, except for when it's deemed necessary, but not 20 million times. Once in a million chance that gets kicked out of. We go to the back and we see Candice LeRae versus with Mr. Regal. She insinuates Ciampa when it comes to the attack. She was like, she lists all these traits of what would be Tommaso Ciampa. Regal then him and his lawyer or him and the police chief or whoever that is sit there and talk for a minute. And he already says we already talked to Ciampa, which we didn't get to see his interaction with Tommaso Ciampa. So I think that's a little sad that they didn't put that one on NXT. But Regal denies he has anything to do with it. He is asked about Johnny Gargano. She says that the triple threat match just happened. The triple threat match was just announced, and that Johnny Gargano told her to sit tight because I'm going to go in the locker room and cleaned up, and then we drove home. And that's all she knows. So, not the fact that Johnny Gargano is the one who did it, because I still think it's going to be Cassius Ohno. It just makes all the sense that it's going to be Cassius Ohno. That William Regal is probably pointing towards a chance that it could be Johnny Gargano, because if you watch the video, Gargano is the first person seen by Regal, is seen passing Regal by as Regal is exiting the building to get to where Aleister Black is, and Gargano is like not in a good mood. He doesn't look like he's in a pleasant mood. So yes, and this is the final set of tapings for this past month's of tapings. The next set is going to start tonight. So anybody going to Full Sail, hopefully between now and I'm hoping it's this set of tapings, so we have a full month of build afterwards. Maybe it's the last episode of these tapings. We'll find out who is the attacker of Aleister Black. Another question I'm going to have is, are we going to see the debut of Matt Riddle? Will we see the debut of Matt Riddle? He was not here on the last set of tapings simply because he was finishing up his indie bookings. Those all seem to be done, so hopefully we will see Matt Riddle this set of tapings and building towards NXT TakeOver War Games, which I will talk a little bit more about War Games in a second. It was noted that Lars Sullivan in action next week, and as I said last week with the interaction between Otis Dosovich and Tommaso Ciampa, that next week we will get Tommaso Ciampa versus Otis Dosovich. Non-title match, of course, but it's just to settle a score, because Otis and Tucker Knight still think Tommaso Ciampa did it, and Tommaso Ciampa has to beat some respect in Otis Dosovich. This will be an interesting thing to see Otis Dosovich in a one-on-one match against a Tommaso Ciampa. Hopefully it's not going to be like a squash match. Hopefully we can get a nice 10-15 minute match from these two. It will be interesting to see Otis, again, like I said, in a one-on-one situation. I mean, the last time he didn't wrestle with Tucker Knight was when they did the injury thing, because Tucker's wife had a baby. So they wrote him off TV with a quote-unquote injury. So definitely going to be something to see. We are now for the United Kingdom North American Championship match. The champion versus champion. This match was fucking phenomenal, minus the ending. This match was so good, I couldn't even take notes for this match. This match was just that damn good. Joint manipulation out the ass. We also had a lot of high flying from Ricochet. Ricochet also did with a strong style himself. The biggest thing was, one of the biggest moves was when Ricochet, after his arms and like hands were manipulated and his hands was stomped on. I'm sorry, if anybody has had their hands stomped on before, like just accidentally, or someone actually did it just for fun or whatever, you know that one stomp is going to like make your hand pretty much unusable for about 10, 15, 20 minutes. Dude, Pete Dunne stomped on Ricochet's left hand 4, 5, 6 times. That was like, I'm like, ugh, I can't even. Crowd was crazy for this match. We got a lot of one and only and bruiserweight chants from this match over and over. We got a both these guys chant. They keep switching between this is awesome, like bruiserweight and one and only. We get a fight forever chant. This match was great. We did not the 6:30. I think is what the 6:30 or the bitter end. We did get a bitter end tease once. The match did come into the end though, when both men were down. The Undisputed Era, Kyle O'Reilly, Bobby Fish is still not out. Like Adam Cole and Roderick Strong all come out and beat down. The War Raiders come down to chase off Undisputed Era. Undisputed Era were over by where the announce table was, and the War Raiders chased them off again. Why is this happening? Do you want to know? This is going to be your War Games. this is going to be your War Games. I'm so hoping, and I think Triple H is too, that Bobby Fish is cleared by Saturday, November 17th. We still got another month, but I guarantee you, Triple H is hoping, praying that Bobby Fish is able to go by November 17th. Why would you want that? For the simple fact is this is going to be your War Games. Not going to be a 3v3v3 unless they want to add Mustache Mountain, which I really hope they don't. This is going to be a Undisputed Era of Bobby Fish, Kyle O'Reilly, Roderick Strong, and Adam Cole versus the War Raiders, Ricochet, and Pete Dunne. If they want to take Pete Dunne out and just have him add into the UK stuff, the aftermath of this had like Keith Lee get involved by throwing Adam Cole into the ring as he was caught up in the middle of something with Undisputed Era, and thrown in to have him get taken care of by Pete Dunne and Ricochet. So, and the War Raiders too. So it could be Ricochet and Keith Lee and the War Raiders versus all 4 members of the Undisputed Era. If Bobby Fish is not able to go by Takeover, then I would trust Triple H to find a suitable replacement. Maybe Donovan Dijak, maybe that not matter. Maybe Keith Lee turns heel. Maybe Cassius Ohno. Who knows? But it's going. I'm hoping and praying this is still going to be a 4-on-4 War Games match, and we're getting more traditional War Games. Last year was fine because you had Sanity, you had the Undisputed Era in the original incarnation, and you had the Authors of Pain with Roderick Strong. It made sense then. We don't need to see 3v3v3 every single year. Once was good enough. So the War Raiders, Ricochet, and Pete Dunne or Keith Lee versus the Undisputed Era is going to be your War Games match. They are building towards War Games, and it's going to be happening sooner rather than later. We will have more as we get close to TakeOver War Games, and the tapings are tonight. I'm hoping we will have a number 1 contenders match of some kind for the NXT Championship. If the North American Championship, if Ricochet is going to be in War Games, then he's not going to be defending his North American Championship at the pay-per-view. If Pete Dunne is in the War Games match, then I can see them having his title on the line at TakeOver. Only time will tell. We will have people who actually go to the show, or people who actually read the spoilers. You will have more of an inclination of what's going to happen at War Games after tonight. But that is going to be your NXT review. Make sure to follow me on Twitter at TheFronts. Find me on twitch.tv/TheFront08. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. Leave me a comment down below on what you think is going to be happening in the next 2 set of tapings, because we are having tapings this week, and then 4 weeks from now we'll have another set of tapings. I did look the taping schedule up, and it was kind of weird because they have a week, because usually tapings, how it goes is that you have because TakeOver's on the 17th, they would have the Aftermath on the 21st, and then they don't have another set of tapings until Wednesday, November 28th. So are we getting a live edition of NXT on the 28th, or what? Because that just makes no sense. Usually it's the Aftermath show happens on the Wednesday after, and then on the next day they have the tapings for the next 4 weeks. They don't have that scheduled this time, so I find it kind of peculiar that the next set of tapings after War Games is going to be the 28th. So is going to be a live NXT for the first time ever, and then they're going to tape the rest. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. TakeOver is going to be great. I cannot wait for War Games. But I'm getting out of here. Make sure to go support my Raw, SmackDown, and this episode right here. I'll be back tomorrow for episode 3 of the Mae Young Classic. I hear Caitlyn was in this one, as well as I believe Toni Storm. Definitely can't wait to see that. And I'll see you guys tomorrow for the Mae Young Classic, and then Saturday back at its normal time for Unscripted. Until then, my name is Franz, and I am out of here.